Hello, my name is Colleen McElroy, and I am here with Channel 4's Worth Knowing program, where we discuss new issues and events that are occurring around Worth in the Friendly Village. Today I am here with President Mary Werner. Good morning, President Werner. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you for inviting me today.
You're very welcome. I know we've been trying to get you over the last few years, and this is very exciting for us. You've been mayor, village president now for several years. Before we go into how things have been going in the village, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you lived in the village of Worth?
I've actually lived in the village of Worth for 33 years. My husband and I moved here when my son was getting ready to start first grade. When we got married, my husband was in the Army. We moved around several times for a few years. And when our son was getting ready to start school, he'd gotten out of the Army. We moved back to Illinois. This is where all our family was. We found a little home in the village of Worth back in the day when that was a handyman special, which was what we could afford at the time. So we moved into the village of Worth, and we've never regretted it one day since then.
What do you recall was your first real involvement in the village? What organization were you involved in?
The very first organization was actually the Cub Scouts. My son came home from school with a little note that they were having a packed day where they were inviting potential children to come. And I showed up at that event. He signed up. I volunteered to be the snack mom for pack night, and within about 3 weeks I was Cub master. It was amazing, but it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good times with the Cub Scouts, and then we moved up to the Boy Scouts. We also did Worth Athletic, which of course back then was called Worth Boys Club Baseball. Unfortunately, we didn't allow girls, but now we do. So I also served on the Mothers Board. Some of the residents in the village of Worth probably remember 30 years ago the big blue weenie wagon we used to have to drive around because we didn't have a concession stand. So I spent many days driving the big blue weenie wagon back and forth to the athletic fields. So have a lot of good memories of my son growing up in the village of Worth.
And also a lot of history with volunteerism in the town. I have to say you've been extremely involved in a lot of organizations in town. As we all know, in small towns, it's usually the same people that are doing the same things, over and over, which could be very much due to time constraints as well. I know the village is coming off of a very important year. Would you like to tell us a little bit about some of the activities we had over the last year?
Absolutely. The village of Worth, we're winding down our centennial celebration. I was very fortunate when I got elected. Colleen came to me and said, next year the village is celebrating their centennial. Can we put together a committee? She was more than happy to sort of be the liaison. So we put together a committee, and they came up with a whole series of events. We tried to do at least one event a month for about 9 months in a row. And I have to say one of my favorites was back on July 3rd when we did the big group photo. Quality Plus Photo on Harlem came out with the photographer. Excel Electric allowed us to borrow a bucket truck, and we literally had hundreds of residents at the rec fields on July 3rd. We lined them up in a big 1 and a 0 and a 0, took the overhead shot, and it was just phenomenal. It's actually on our homepage now on our website so everybody can see it. So that was one of my favorite events. And of course, this past Sunday, May 17th, was our big reveal. A couple months ago, the committee came to me and said that they were trying to find sort of a permanent centennial memorial. And the committee did such a great job raising funds throughout the year through things like the banner programs. We had a couple fundraisers at the Chieftain. And so they actually hired a local artist, Mark Van Cura, who does mosaics. And Mark spent literally hundreds of hours for several months creating a 4-foot by 8-foot mural for the village, which is now, as you know, mounted on the east wall of the village hall. And I have to say, honestly, I wanted to be surprised, so I waited till the big reveal. it made me cry.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just
It was
amazing.
it was a very emotional day, and
yes.
what was so amazing even about this entire year is that it was really made up of all local talent.
Yes.
Everything from obviously our committee full of
Residents,
Worth
yes.
but also the projects were done by Worth residents. Our
Yes.
centennial video, even
Yes.
the banners were all I'd say 90% were purchased by Worth businesses and Worth residents.
Yes.
So I really do have to thank you. You did a wonderful job assembling a group of people that really brought this village together for this year and for the future. So
Well, and I know we've had some residents already asking about the banners. Our goal was to keep them up through this year because technically our centennial year was from August of last year through August of this year. So when we take them down at the end of this year, if the residents want them, we are going to give them out as well to the businesses. We've had a couple businesses ask, what are you going to do with those banners? So when we take them down in the fall, as we prepare for our Christmas decorations, we will be distributing those banners. So I think it was a great program.
yes. It was. And speaking of the banners, it is kind of ties into beautification. Also this past weekend, again, a very busy weekend. I know that you did something a little different this year with our beautification. Could you explain to the residents what you did?
Absolutely. We traditionally do what we call planting day in the village, and we have a lot of planters that are located up and down Harlem Avenue and 111th Street. And normally the residents on planting day have to travel up and down 111th Street from planter to planter to planter. The committee came up with the idea this year of having Public Works gather all of the planters in one location, so we brought them to the Public Works facility, and we invited the residents to come Saturday to plant. It worked out great. We had Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, residents. Was the largest group of people we ever had show up. Normally planting day takes a couple of hours as we wander up and down the streets. Mm-hmm. We got the whole project finished in about 30 minutes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It was amazing. Public Works is going to monitor those planters for about 2 weeks just to make sure they all take, and then they will be strategically locating them back up and down 111th Street and on Harlem Avenue for everyone to enjoy. So,
which is really nice for our business district. Do you have any programs that you're going to be offering for homeowners as well? Will you be doing our beautification awards again this year?
They are talking about doing the beautification awards, and I understand this year again you basically need to be nominated. We don't just go out with a committee and try and seek out, the best looking homes. We actually ask your neighbors to nominate you because I think that's a good way that, obviously the neighbors appreciate. Typically, if your house looks good, it makes my house look a little better. So we are asking again for nominations, and there will be a little ballot box up at the Village Hall again. So if you're coming in to pay your water bill or whatever, you can just drop a little ballot in the box and hopefully suggest one of your neighbors will get one of those prizes.
Wonderful. Now, speaking of Public Works, I know you assemble at the Public Works building. I know they've been quite busy outside lately. We've seen, obviously
Yes.
the big thing on everybody's mind now are streets and sanitation. Do you have any updates, things
Well,
that are going on?
We are actually in the process of approving the village budget for this year. And so Public Works has gone out and they've put together a list for me of sort of what they believe are the worst streets in the village where we can start. So we will be doing some replacements again this year. And I know one of the areas that a lot of the residents were concerned about is west of Harlem Avenue. Sometimes they feel like they've been a little forgotten. So west of Harlem between 115th and 112th is the area we're really looking at right now. We also have Public Works is going to be involved in, we received a grant from the MWRD to do some flood relief in our Worth Woods area. A lot of people know that that's basically the lowest area in the entire village. It's kind of like a little bowl. So when water seeks its own level, that's where it goes.
Mm-hmm. Actually, not to interrupt you, but on a historic note, that used to be known as Hildebrandt's Pond. So there actually used to be an ice skating pond. We're talking, turn of the century,
Yes.
Going back to the history, but it did used to be known as Hildebrandt's Pond. So
I
you're
can
up
see
against
why.
Mother Nature there.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, but we were very fortunate that we got that grant from them, WRD. They're just in the phase 1 engineering right now. In order to truly do the best job, it takes about a year to actually study all the water flows. So hopefully by next spring, it'll be in full force that we'll be able to alleviate that issue. We're also, I know recently we've been working on residents who, if we have a water main break, we've had some concerns with, we never let them know if we have to turn off their water. So I would just like to let the residents know that when it's an emergency and there's a water main break, I wish we could let you know, but unfortunately, every second that water is shooting out under the street somewhere, the taxpayers are purchasing that water from the city of Chicago. Yes. It's going through our meters. So our goal is to turn it off as quickly as possible, and I know it does inconvenience some of the residents, but by doing that, then we are also able to address the issue and correct it and get the water turned back on as quickly as possible. So I wish we never had an emergency water main break. There's probably nobody in the village who would be happier than me, other than maybe our superintendent of public works. But I just want to give the residents a little heads up that if you come home from work and your water's turned off, it truly is an emergency situation.
Yes. As a side note, a nice new addition to the village is our new village website, which does have the feature, the Notify Me feature. Would you like to explain that as well?
Absolutely. Our village website, which is villageofworth.com, right on the home page, there's a button you can press. It says Notify Me. There are several options that come up, and you, as the resident, as the homeowner, get to choose what you want to be notified of. And water main break is a perfect example of the type of things that we like to let the residents know about. It also will notify you if you want of weather issues, related issues. We can notify you when we update the village calendars. There's a huge calendar on the website now with events going all the way through the entire summer. So every time we update the calendar, you can get notified. And you have a choice of being notified either by email, by text message, or both. So it's really a great way for us to communicate directly with the residents how they like to be notified. And like I said, the new website, there's a lot of information also about our village ordinances in the code book and the permit process, building department. So if the village hall is only open from 9 to 5, sometimes it's hard for residents who work to get their questions answered. So our goal is we'd like you to be able to go to the website and hopefully you'll be able to answer 90% of your questions at least by yourself.
And it does have the nice search engine where you can just type in a question and it will identify. So I know you've worked very hard on that, you and the clerk and the staff.
Yes.
So that's a wonderful new addition that the residents should definitely take.
I really need to give a lot of credit to the staff and to the village clerk, Bonnie Price. They spent literally weeks, hours every day putting it all together. And it's kind of a work in progress. I would like the residents to let us know if there's something you would like to see on the website that's not there yet, please let us know. Because we can very easily sort of manipulate and change and add and delete things. So please feel free to visit villageofworth.com.
So it's a wonderful going into the age of technology, finally catching up. Going back to Public Works, I know that we recently got a new truck. I was able to see it the other day on the street. It's a nice addition even for our staff as well. Are there any other additions to Public Works that you'd like to discuss?
Well, one of the things that Public Works is helping us with right now is we are identifying all of the street lights in the village because we're looking at going to an LED light program. Not only will it save a lot of energy, which everybody's in favor of these days, but it can save the taxpayers thousands of dollars a year on the energy cost. So we are literally in the process of getting quotes on switching out all of our street lights to an LED light. So I think that will be a big boom to not only our economy, but to energy savings for the whole entire area. So we're excited about that.
Which even is good as far as public safety is concerned. It lights up areas that are,
Yes.
maybe a little bit darker in town, which leads me now to the police department. We've had a change over the last several months in our police department. Would you like to discuss that?
Absolutely. We have a new chief of police, Mark Misitich. Now, Mark has actually been with us for over 20 years, and he kind of came up through the ranks. He was deputy chief before he got appointed chief. And he came with sort of a new approach. He's the type of person that loves to empower people. He's given the police officers a lot of freedom, which has really enabled them to interact more in the community. They've come up with some great programs with the schools. I was there last year when they were playing volleyball at the junior high. They want to play basketball. We have Officer Peterson, who interacts with the schools at least on a monthly basis. We also this year, for the first time, the police department got involved with SWSRA, which is the Specials, Southwest Recreation Association. They did a pancake breakfast and they raised $1,000 for them. We're doing Cop on Top, which is for Special Olympics. Last year was the first time we did Cop on Top. It's going to be at Dunkin' Donuts on Friday, May 29th. So if you'd like to make a donation, you'll see the officers sitting on top of the roof. They have buckets that they lower down. You're more than happy to throw your contribution in. All the money goes to Special Olympics. So we're very excited that once again we're going to be doing that for Special Olympics. In addition, last year we also participated in the Battle in the Burbs, which was a softball game in Crestwood between the police chiefs and the fire chiefs and the mayors. So that was a lot of fun. This is probably the first time in 25 years I played softball. But again, all of that money went to Special Olympics. So it's very exciting to see the police department getting so involved in the community and beyond. As we know, Special Olympics is, goes far beyond just our local community. So we're very excited.
Yeah, it's we're actually going to be doing a special interview with Officer Mike Cozy, the FOP president, coming up very soon. So you'll be able to hear about some more of their events that they're going to have this summer. Now, with the weather hopefully starting to make a turn in a positive direction, naturally, golf is on the mind and recreation in the village. Could you talk a little bit about the Water's Edge Golf Course?
Absolutely. We are very fortunate that everyone tells me that we have one of the premier golf courses in the south suburbs. Everyone tells me that it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's easy to play. They absolutely love Water's Edge. We're updating the clubhouse right now. We're updating the menu. I know we're getting our video gaming this week. The machines are coming. We would like it to be a place where not only do you feel comfortable golfing, but after golf, come sit in the clubhouse, stick around for a while, have a few cold ones. Or if you'd like to go out for lunch or dinner, like you said, they have a good menu. You can stop by anytime. They actually have a buffet lunch menu right now. I went there for lunch last week and tried the buffet for the first time. A lot of very good, variety salads. They had burgers, they had hot dogs, mustacholi. I mean, it was a very nice meal. It was only $7. So it's a great deal for lunch. So hopefully with the season, what we'd like everyone to do is pray that it only rains in the evening from like 8 o'clock to like midnight. That would be perfect for the golf course. And then they'd never have to water. So, but yeah, we absolutely love the idea of having one of the premier golf courses right here in our own backyard.
And of course, they do offer gift certificates, and they do have a website where you can book your tea time online, and there's a lot of other opportunity there.
Absolutely. They also do some fundraisers during the course of the year. They host a lot of special events. If anybody wants to do a special golf outing, please feel free to contact them. They do a lot of outings. I know they do one for Christ Hospital. I know they do Lions Club. They do a veterans event. So they're more than happy and willing to work with anybody that has an idea for an event. They also do what a lot of people don't realize is small parties. They can do, little bridal showers, baby showers, that type of event. So they're willing to work with just about anybody with any idea you can come up with.
And not to mention, Monday nights they do have the Worth Car Cruisers
Yes.
Club, I believe is what they're called. They have
Yes.
every Monday night. It's starting at 6:30 p.m. over there, and it's free to join. They do have some other activities throughout the summer, but that's a nice addition as well.
Yes, they do. So that's another reason why you'd like to pray good weather Monday nights.
Yes, yes. And of course, that bumps up right up against our boat launch. Just as a brief reminder that we do have our boat launch and walking trail over there.
Yes, we do. And I know we are actually in the process right now. There may be an opportunity for us to get some local STP funding to redo some of the walking paths and to complete the actual path.
Wonderful.
Yes, it's because it's a multi-use path, it's a bike path, it's a walking path. It's probably going to be eligible for those funds. So I actually started the conversation last week with the person in the Southwest Conference of Mayors who's in charge of that committee. So we're looking into actually upgrading the path even a little more.
Great,
So,
and that's nice, even with the new trail that runs through Palos and through
Yes.
the rest of the suburbs. It would be a very nice addition for
Yes.
people to come over and see the recreational area that we
Absolutely.
have in Worth. Which also kind of ties into economic development again. When you have all of these recreational activities, you'd hope that people would maybe stray off the trail, or as they're driving down Harlem or 111th Street.
Yes.
Do you have any updates for us on things that are occurring in the village?
Well, actually, one of the things that's going on right now that actually Trustee McElroy is very involved in is our transit-oriented development plan. We received a grant from the RTA to look at the area that actually surrounds our metro station. And one of the things that our community needs to look at is what they refer to as urban infill. We don't have any areas that we can assimilate, so we need to look at the existing communities, and urban infill will bring in additional residents who are typically the people who will spend money in our community, shop in our stores, eat in our restaurants, buy gas in our gas stations. So one of the projects that's actually already underway is on Crandall Avenue. We actually have several brand new townhomes that are going to be built, and I think it'll be a very nice addition to that neighborhood. There is a possibility that there will be another set of townhomes built on the other side of the metro station. We have a few areas in town where property that's either vacant or has been empty for many, many years, we now have developers that are expressing an interest in coming into the community. And I know if people drive down 111th Street, they'll notice that there's recently been some upgrades to what we refer to as the old Bouchon properties. I know a lot of residents have commented on even like the Chieftain upgrade to his building, the Gemato's building, the Salt Cave. There's been a lot of updates on 111th Street that a lot of the residents are paying attention to. So it makes it look very inviting.
Yes.
So, but probably our biggest hope right now is we actually were selected as one of the medical marijuana dispensaries. And the medical marijuana dispensary has a potential of literally bringing thousands of residents from the surrounding communities to the village. They will be, traversing up 111th Street, down Southwest Highway, down Harlem. And our hope is that they will also then be stopping here. They will be shopping. They will be eating in our restaurants. They will be buying gas. So we're looking for ways to actually bring people to the village. And I think once they get here, they'll realize we have a lot to offer. So hopefully they'll come back again.
And even looking at the events that happened over this last weekend, and even prior to that with our Lucasburg cleanup, and
Yes.
just the strong sense of volunteerism, you look at this mosaic almost now as a keystone, as a cornerstone, to our memorial that we have at 111th Street,
Yes.
which I know also you are very involved with our veterans. By doing this and utilizing the RTA with this transit-oriented development plan, it helps Worth become more of a livable, walkable community that people want to come in, like you said, and spend
Yes.
their time. And grow their families and become involved in these traditional groups, just like you and your family have.
Yes.
Because I know even your grandchildren live
Well,
here,
yes,
so-
I am very fortunate. When my son got married, he actually married a Worth native. They bought a home in the village, and I consider one of my greatest blessings that my grandchildren live about a block away. So it's nice to see that, and I know for several years I was a commuter. It was great. I
Yes.
drove like a mile from my home, parked in the commuter lot, hopped on the train, and went downtown. It was so convenient for me. And for years I did that. So it is a very nice, walkable. We have a library that's very close by. We have a very active park district. And we have a lot to offer the residents in the village.
Yeah, and just briefly speaking of our park district, they are celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Which I appreciate the village reminding everyone, especially on that little sticker that goes on your car, if you'd like to just remind
Yes.
residents finally.
Our vehicle stickers are actually on sale right now, and if you buy it in the month of May, there's a $2 discount. They're due by June 30th, so the new vehicle sticker, as you get yours, you'll see it has the actual Park District 50th anniversary logo on it. So we're partnering with the Park District on hopefully several of their events. And their first event is coming up June 5th, I think
Yes,
it is,
it's
that
Friday,
Friday
June
night
5th,
at
yes.
Gilmore Park.
Yes.
And I know all the residents are welcome to come out. They want to make it almost like a picnic atmosphere.
Yes.
So you're welcome to come. They will be providing some entertainment, but you're welcome to just bring a picnic basket, a cooler, blankets, some chairs. So it'll be a good way for them to kick off their 50th celebration.
Yep, again, just showing how strong the friendly village can be with these small community events.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
well, thank you very much for spending time with us this morning. Is there anything else in conclusion that you'd like to add?
I think the only thing I would like to remind our residents is the village is not doing the formal newsletter like we had in the past, but for the last about 18 months, your news is coming with your water bill. So please, when you get your water bill, if there's extra pages in there, take them out and read them. The most current water bill had a newsletter on one side and a calendar of events on the other. It's probably something you'd love to stick on your refrigerator. It's got a lot of events that are going to take you through almost the entire summer. And there's a lot of information on things like chipper service, yard waste service, recycling. So please take the time when you get your water bill every month, take it out, read it. There's a community news section on it. There may be additional flyers tucked in there. Don't just think it's a water bill, because it's much, much more now. There's a lot of information on your water bill. So I would hope everyone would take the time to read them.
And of course, if you lose that paper for whatever reason, there's always our village website. So
It's always on the website.
that's right. So what is the best way that people can contact you?
The best way to contact me, I'm very fortunate. I'm actually at the Village Hall typically 30 or 40 hours a week. So please feel free to contact me at the Village Hall, 448-1181. Or my email is simple, mwerner@villageofworth.com. Go to the website. You can actually just click a little button where my name is and contact me directly. So I love to hear from the residents. It's amazing, amazing, amazing what I've heard in the last 2 years that I've been at the Village Hall full time. I love to hear from the residents, so feel free to contact me.
Or I'm sure they will find you at one of our next local events. So, well, thank you very much again
Thank
for the
you.
time that you spent with us. And thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you around Worth.
Thank you.